Hi folks, it's Blake from Kent. We're here with Lauren Hire of House of Hire for our Love Your Space Week. How you doing today?
I'm great, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, as an interior stylist, I'm a huge advocate for we have a better quality of life and we are just happier people when we love our homes and we love the spaces we're spending our time in.
For sure.
So today I thought we could talk about the kitchen and kind of some ways you can breathe new life into your existing space, or maybe if you're waiting to do a renovation, some tips you can start to implement in the meantime.
All right, Lauren, so I know you're in a fairly new home, that's correct.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you did to help kind of personalize your space a bit so you can, love it again?
Well, the first thing I thought I'd talk about is the island, and we painted that, and it's a great way to bring in some contrast and interest to your kitchen.
Okay.
And the next thing was upgrading our sink and faucet. This is something we don't often think to do, but it has a really great impact.
Nice.
And the next thing is to cut off the back lip on your laminate counters, and that way you can bring your backsplash right down to the edge, and it just gives a nice, clean, modern look.
So Lauren, what made you pick this specific faucet and sink?
So whenever you're upgrading something like your sink and faucet in your kitchen, you really want to think about how you're using the space. So whether you want a single basin or a double basin, a low faucet, a tall faucet, you need to take into consideration how you're going to use it. So I prefer a double basin, so that's what I chose.
Okay.
And I really love a tall faucet because it just gives you lots of options with cleaning.
So what about the finishes? What made you pick those specific finishes and those type of styles?
Well, I really love how brightening white is in the kitchen. I mean, it just looks clean and fresh.
Yeah.
And when you pair it with a modern faucet like this in the black, it just gives a nice sleek look. Another great thing is that a lot of times we don't necessarily think to upgrade our faucet and sink if we're not planning a renovation.
True.
But the reality is if you're not changing the size or location of this, there's no reason why you have to wait to start enjoying that finish. So another thing to note is that you make that one-time investment of your sink, and a lot of times they can be mounted in two ways now.
Okay.
So you can have it as a drop-in method as I have here, or down the road, you swap out your countertops, you want to go the undermount route.
Nice.
This sink can easily be mounted that way as well.
That's great.
It was great because Kent installed it for me as well.
And how was that process?
It was super convenient because as a busy mom and entrepreneur, I don't really have the time to look up reputable tradesmen to do these type of jobs. So it was great because they took care of that, sent somebody over with the product and had it done and installed in like 2 hours. So it was perfect.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was great.
So Lauren, what did you do with the island here in the kitchen?
Well, I really wanted to make the kitchen have a little bit more contrast where I have a lot of white cabinetry in here.
Right.
So I knew I wanted to paint it. Now, if you're gonna do a project like this, the prep work is really important. And I know that's our least favorite part of a lot of projects, but when it comes to cabinetry, you really wanna make sure you take the right steps to ensure you get a good result. So you're gonna wanna buy a sample of the paint you want first. That's something that's really important that people don't necessarily do.
Good idea.
And it's a much better way to figure out if you're gonna like a color than instead of finding out after you've painted and done the work you don't like it.
Yeah.
So get your sample. Once you have your sample done, you're gonna wanna give your cupboards a really great clean because we are in the kitchen. There's a lot of spills and messes in here.
For sure, I know I do it.
Yeah, so once you have it nice and clean, the next step, which I feel like a lot of people forget, is to sweep around the perimeter of wherever you're gonna be painting, because when you take your brush down low in your roller, if there's crumbs or anything on the floor, you really risk bringing that up into your cabinetry.
Good point, yeah.
Then you're gonna tape it all off, put on your primer. This had a tinted lacquer finish on it, but there's some really great strong adhesion primers you can get now that really save you from having to sand everything.
Nice.
So get a nice strong adhesion primer, do a light sand in between that and your first coat of paint.
Okay.
Really helps get rid of any drip marks or like brush strokes, roller marks, just ensures you get a smooth finish.
Right.
And then put on your coat of paint. You want to look for a strong enamel finish paint. Once that dries, same thing, light sanding, and then your final coat and you're good to go.
Wow, it looks incredible.
Thank you.
Well, folks, we've had an absolute blast here at Lauren's place today, so thanks so much for having us.
No, thanks for coming. I had a lot of fun.
No problem. So folks, be sure to check out Lauren's blog at houseofhiredesigns.com and check out her Instagram channel as well.
And make sure you follow Kent on Instagram and their Love Your Space hashtag, as well as your Facebook account.
You got it. So all right, folks, until next time, love your space.